All right, looks like we have a decent number of attendees on the call already. We're going to be starting off the webinar in just a minute. As mentioned earlier, for those of you who are online, you should be able to see the quick poll as soon as you've entered the webinar. So please go ahead and fill that out and let us know if you're already an existing member with us and if you have accounts at our preferred brokers. Okay, can everyone hear me clearly? Please feel free to use the chat section on the site to reply to us, just to let us know. All right then. We're going to close the poll now and get started with the webinar directly. All right, welcome everybody. Good afternoon and good evening, depending on which side of the pond you're at. We'd like to welcome you to our FapTurbo2 webinar, which will basically focus on our automated Forex trading robots. That's BTC and FapTurbo2 Premium. My name is Alex and I'm part of the FapTurbo development team, and I also handle tech and premium support along with the rest of our crew that includes Annie, Emily, and others. Joining us today this time around is also Mr. Adam Cullen, who represents our preferred broker Tallinex and will be speaking on their behalf later on in the presentation. After which we'll have a brief Q&A session at the end of the webinar to address your queries about our robots or about the brokers. This webinar will be recorded and made available later on our website, so don't worry if you feel you've missed out on anything during the session. Now, before we get started, for those of you who are completely new to the FapTurbo family, I'd just like to refer you to our website. That's FapTurbo2.3, which you can see here. And please make sure you take the time to read through our webpage after the webinar. You'll see details about our robot's performance. And if you'd like to be kept informed of updates in the future, there's also a registration box that you'll find as you scroll down the main page where you can fill in your name and email address, and that'll get you subscribed to our email list. Now, for this webinar, we assume that you are somewhat familiar with the concept of automated trading via a Forex broker. Now, there are plenty of Forex brokers that you can find online, but for our FapTurbo2 robots, we highly recommend our preferred brokers listed here. That's Tallinex and MyFxChoice. Now, both these brokers have their own advantages, but more importantly, what you must keep in mind is that our FapTurbo2 series is exclusively tied to these brokers, which means you cannot run our robots on any other broker except these two. I'm sure there are many here who have accounts at least one of these brokers. If you're completely new to the Forex world, we highly recommend that you register with either one of our preferred brokers here. These are the registration links you see here at the bottom. Please know that if you're signing up for a new account at either of these preferred brokers, then make sure you sign up through these links only in order to get started with our FapTurbo2 series. All you have to do is open up a FapTurbo 2.0 account. That would be like, say for example, at FXChoice, or at Tallinex, that would be an ECN micro type account. After which you can download their latest MetaTrader 4 trading platforms and then deposit your funds to get started. Once you're done with funding your account, just email our premium support team. The address is premium@FapTurbo2.com, and we'll assist you with setting up our robots on your account. But we'll talk more about this later. Now, just to give you a brief intro to the entire concept of automated trading, for those of you who are new to all this, one of the first things you'll definitely have to get acquainted with is the MetaTrader 4 platform. And let me just quickly switch to the Tallinex MetaTrader so you can see what that looks like. Now, MetaTrader 4 is one of the world's most popular Forex trading platforms and is very user-friendly. And more importantly, it allows automated trading, which is where our robots come in. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like here, what you're seeing right now is the actual MetaTrader 4 platform. This one's supplied by Tallinex, and we have our very latest FapTurbo 2.3 Premium Beta version that's running here on this this particular chart. You can see the charts listed here. Our FapTurbo2 series works on 7 pairs plus Bitcoin as well. And we'll talk about that a little while later as well. Now, in the parlance of the automated trading world, a robot is basically referred to as an expert advisor, which is a software that automatically trades on your Forex account on your behalf, based on a set of rules that it has been coded to trade with. Now, these sets of rules can vary based on the trading strategies that it has been developed to emulate. And the most common types are based on technical analysis, and depending on the trading styles as well, they can be classified as scalpers, day traders, swing traders, short-term, medium-term, long-term. We've got a whole array of them. Now, our BTC and FapTurbo2 robots incorporate a combination of medium-term as well as short-term along with scalper trading. The original FapTurbo1 robot was actually a scalper. Now, just switching back here, what I'd like to talk to you about right now is about how FapTurbo started off. Just to give you a brief look at the history behind FapTurbo's development over the years. The very first version of FapTurbo was released in 2008, and FAP stands for Forex Autopilot, and it was originally a long-term strategy that mainly ran on Euro USD M1. We collaborated with the creator of FAP and added our highly successful scalper strategy to it, which was how FapTurbo came into being. Now, ever since the first version, we've had almost 60 updates since then, and the current FapTurbo scalper stands at version 57. But there have been many other variants of it as well, one of which is the relatively unknown FapTurbo Flash robot, which is what we have included into our very latest FapTurbo version 2.3 version, just to give you an added advantage in the markets. The original scalper did very well on the crosses, namely Euro GBP, Euro CHF, GBP CHF, and some of the major pairs as well. But the problem with our older FapTurbo scalper robots was that they were extremely sensitive to spreads. And since we didn't limit the earlier versions to our preferred brokers, our customers would have highly varying results, which were mostly dependent on the spreads that were provided by their own brokers. Also, once our original FapTurbo robot became highly successful and people started talking about it over the internet, the brokers got wind of it, and most of them began to increase their spreads during after hours, which made it increasingly difficult for our robots to scalp profitably. So by 2011, we knew we had to change our strategy because it just wasn't working out anymore, at least not the way that we planned it. And so we began developing the first series of our premium versions of FapTurbo as short-term traders that had larger take profits so as to counteract increased spreads. And also our premium robots weren't limited to only the early Aussie or Asian sessions any longer. So they could work throughout the day to extract more profits. The best of the first series of premium robots was culminated in the FapTurbo Premium version 2 beta, which was the precursor to our entire FapTurbo2 series. And it's our latest version, BTC and FapTurbo version 2.3 Premium, that is the main focus of our webinar today. Now, our FapTurbo2 robots have been expanded to trade with a medium-term strategy, that's MTS for short, along with the Flash strategy, which means that there are larger TPs, that's take profits and stop losses, but also better profit or loss ratios. And besides that, You may notice that trades will last a little longer than what you might have seen with the earlier scalper version, but that shouldn't be a problem at all, because at the end of the day, what you will see are larger profits. So yes, you will have trades that can sometimes last anything from a few days to weeks sometimes. In comparison, scalper trades usually last only a couple of hours up to a day. But what you have to remember with a scalper is that most of your profits will get eaten up by the spreads, and that's exactly what we were attempting to solve. Now, although you'll have to exercise a little more patience, the FapTurbo2 MTS strategy, along with the new Flash strategy as well, proves to be very profitable in the long term. And that's what really matters at the end of the day. It's not just about having to make profits in the immediate future. For those of you who prefer more frequent trading, don't worry about it. We've also designed our FapTurbo2 robots to behave like Swiss Army knives. So you have the option of being able to trade in multiple modes. And with the new version 2.3, what we've done is we've made the default mode a combination of MTS plus the Flash strategy together. And both of them will be running together on the same chart for each pair. So it makes it a lot easier for you. You don't have to load it up on separate charts. Now, besides the MTS and Flash mode combo, you will also have the scalper mode, which is derived from our legacy scalper, and that's in the mix. It works best on Euro USD M1, and it will also allow you to trade more frequently if you want to. Now, with our latest FapTurbo2 version, like I said, you have the new additional trading mode based on the Flash trading algorithm, which is sort of like a short-term strategy. You can think of it as being between a scalper and the MTS mode. A couple of things that you need to know about the Flash strategy is that it trades more often than the MTS at times, and it can also open up to 2 simultaneous trades on each pair. So when you're running the latest version 2.3 beta, you will notice a lot of trades on a single pair. One of which will belong to MTS, and sometimes you might see 2 additional trades. Those will belong to the Flash strategy. Besides all of this, best of all, that is, we've also decided to add Bitcoin to our list of tradable pairs, which is handled by a separate version of our robot, and that's aptly named BTC FapTurbo2 Premium. So the BTC version trades exclusively on Bitcoin versus USD, which you will find as BTC USD in your MetaTrader. For those of you who don't know what all the fuss is about, Bitcoin is one of the most popular electronic cryptocurrencies that's used across the world, and its volatility allows our BTC FapTurbo robot to gain more profits for you than if you were to simply employ a buy or hold strategy. We'll talk more about a buy and hold strategy later on. What you should know is that the BTC version also includes the MTS mode as well as the scalper, both of which have shown a lot of promise on Bitcoin lately in terms of their accuracy. Now, besides all of this, besides Forex itself, the one thing that we do want to mention is that very often we get questions from our customers about how FapTurbo is in comparison to what it'd be like if they were trading binary options. Now, the benefit is in terms of safety, which is the fact that at the end of the day, when you have a robot, and even though it's automated, at the end of the day, everything is under your control. So it's always safer than having to play around with binary option scams. Binary options, at the end of the day, is just very simply a glorified form of push-button gambling on the various instruments that are available to you on the market. So binary options may seem like it fulfills the immediate need for instant gratification while you're trading. There might be times when you have a great winning streak and you get caught up by the entire thing of having to trade more and more. But it'll come down to the point where you could potentially lose much more just as easily as you may have won a few calls or puts. So in comparison, with our robot on Forex markets, what you will have are steady profits. We're not gonna promise you, we're not gonna tell you that you're always going to win every single trade, because that's absolutely impossible in any market. And if there's anyone who were to tell you so, then you should probably run in the opposite direction. But we're being very honest and open about the fact that we know that our robots are capable of hitting a particular accuracy percentage, and that's something that we've thoroughly tested. before we release it to you, our members. So now coming back to robots, there's a lot that goes into developing and maintaining both our FapTurbo2 robots. In our previous version, we added a whole list of improvements, the most important of which is the ability for our robots to automatically download the latest optimized presets from our servers, which will help the robots to trade more profitably on each pair. Now, you have to know that we are extremely serious in our commitment to ensure that our FapTurbo2 robots stay up to date along with the markets. And in order to do so, we regularly put our robots through a grueling optimization process. And that takes weeks and sometimes months at a time in order for us to filter out the best settings that show a high statistical probability of being profitable in the near future. I'll discuss more about our optimization methodology a little later in the webinar. But for all of you, as the end users of our robots, it's not necessary for you to know the technical intricacies of the process in order to trade with our robots. That's why, in order to make things easier for you as our members, we added the automatic download feature so that the robots will automatically initialize themselves with the latest settings from our servers, and you don't have to worry about a thing. The robots will take care of themselves. Now, all of these improvements and developments that we make won't mean a thing if you don't have a trustworthy broker that gives you the best trading conditions for our robots to churn out profits for you. Which brings us to our preferred brokers. That's Tallinex and MyFxChoice. Now, we've searched the markets for the best possible brokers for our members, and we can honestly say that both these brokers offer the best trading environments and conditions for our FapTurbo2 robots. We've also made it easier for you to run our robots because their latest MetaTraders, that's the MetaTrader 4 from both of these brokers, already come pre-installed with our updated robot versions. So besides purchasing a license to FapTurbo2, you will need to open at least one account with either one of our preferred brokers. And as you can see here, we have listed the basic requirements or conditions. But when it comes down to, what I would like to mention is the fact that we happen to have a very close relationship with Tallinex and MyFxChoice. At this point, the best person to speak to you about Tallinex will be Adam. So I'm going to briefly hand this over to him right now. Adam, it's all yours.
Hi Alex, hope everyone else can hear me. What can I say? Tallinex has been in the market since 2012, and we've basically worked with the FapTurbo team almost since we opened our doors. The system really just works so well on our platform, and the fact that we've integrated it with our MetaTrader means you don't even have to worry about installing things. So that's great for everybody that wants to use FapTurbo with Tallinex. In terms of what we do to help you, we've got a whole array of things, and I'm going to talk about several of those as we go through the rest of the presentation a little bit later on. But the main things, first of all, we make it very, very easy for you to open an account. Unless you're trading as a company, it's literally 2 pieces of ID and we can get you approved. So you can get your account up and running really, really quickly. Very easy to fund, credit card, wire transfers. We have other payment options coming online probably this weekend, so it's just going to become even easier for everybody. And we have, as Alex said, our ECM micro account type. This has really worked very, very well for people running FapTurbo. It's very, very flexible. It has a lot of other benefits, which again I'll cover later. And I think you're really going to love it. To ice the cake, as you can see down the bottom, we do provide a bonus. We think it's very important to give clients something back. It's not just about a straight business relationship, which a lot of brokers have with their clients. We try to be a little bit generous, and so we give 100% deposit bonus for all our clients. and as of now, we're also offering a free VPS, which is an incredible VPS, as you'll find out a bit later on. So rather than take up too much time at this point in the presentation, I'm going to hand it back to Alex, and I'll speak to you a bit later on.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Adam. It's always great to hear from the brokers as well whenever we have these webinars. Besides Tallinex, we also happen to have a close relationship with MyFxChoice as well. To register with FxChoice, you would essentially have to follow more or less the same steps as you did with Tallinex. The only difference is that instead of an ECN micro account type, you'd see it as FapTurbo 2.0 when you're going through the registration steps. But once you're done with the registration, all you have to do is download the latest MT4. That's a metadata 4 platform. Make sure you complete your account verification and then make your deposit. FxChoice also offers a very attractive 25% bonus. I'm not going to be speaking too much about FxChoice because we have had a representation from FxChoice before, and we've basically talked about FxChoice a lot previously. This time around, we're just going to pay attention to Tallinex, and it's also because of the fact that we've had some really great results on Tallinex recently, which we're very excited to share with you all. And one last thing is, besides the 25% bonus, FxChoice also offers a VPS, just like Tallinex does. And so once you join us here at FapTurbo2 and you sign up for either of these broker accounts, just email us at premium@FapTurbo2.com to get started with the installation process or anything that you need in order to get your robots up and running on your live accounts as soon as possible, because the sooner you get your robots running on your live account, the sooner you can start making money. Okay. Now, to access our current BTC and FapTurbo version 2.2 premium robots, like we mentioned earlier, all you need to do is download and install the very latest metadata 4 from either of the brokers, that's Tallinex or MyFxChoice. And you'll see this as soon as you'll see the options, or rather the links required in order to download the latest MP4 as soon as you're done with the registration of your new live account. And those links were given previously. And if you have any trouble with registrations whatsoever, please make sure that you contact us. And besides that, if you ever lose your way, you can also find the download links or any other information required to get started with the FapTurbo2 robots within our members area. So all you have to do is go to FapTurbo2.com/members. You log in there with the login info that was given to you as soon as you had signed up for FapTurbo2, and make sure you switch to the downloads page, which is the main page that has all the information that you need in order to get FapTurbo2 running. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this is what the downloads page is like in the members area. This is where you'll also gain access to our manuals, video tutorials, and any other resources you'd require. Basically, everything you'd need to run BTC and FapTurbo2 successfully has already been handed to you on a silver plate in our members area. So make sure you take the time to go through our video tutorials and the manuals, because, see, at the end of the day, you want to make money. And even though this is an automatic trading solution, it is important that you get to know our system as well and how it works. So we're not going to go into how to set up FapTurbo2 here, because all of that has already been covered in our manuals and the videos. So we're not going to repeat all those instructions on this webinar. Now that we've given you a look at our members area, you must be wondering, what do the profit figures of our FapTurbo2 robots look like? Well, just to give you an idea, here are the updated profits for our robots over the past 5 years, starting from the beginning of January 2010. Now, with our robots, the way that we've programmed them and designed them and even optimized them is that we've only used data starting from this decade onwards. So anything prior to 2010 will not work with these robots, because those market conditions are no longer valid, or rather they're not relevant anymore to our trading strategies. And with every year that passes by, what we do is we update the robots in such a way that it always pays attention to the very latest market information. And it's a form of trading in which what you do is you basically it's sort of like saying you have weighted info. The more recent information is highly weighted in comparison to the older information or older market data. We'll talk more about that during the optimization methodology. So yeah, to give you an idea, in total we have come up to profits of $700,000. That's across all pairs, out of which Bitcoin is actually the most profitable, and a great deal of that profit was generated from the MTS as well as the scalper strategies on Bitcoin. And besides that, we've also made profits of $420,000, which were generated during all the focus periods, that is from November to February over the past 5 years. I'll discuss more about the focus periods again during the methodology section. Now, out of these profits in the medium term, 280,000 were over the last year alone. That's in 2014, and that's excluding profits from the recently added legacy scalper mode that was added in the previous version 2.2. Now, we have a lot of customers who ask us what are the best pairs to trade on. Honestly, at this point in time, what I would personally suggest is for you to run the robot on all the pairs simultaneously, but make sure you do it. Make sure you don't overtrade your account with high lot sizes. The reason is because every few months when we go ahead and upload or release the latest optimized settings for the robot, some pairs will shine a little better than the others, but at the end of the day, the figures that we are showing you are a combination of profits that are made across all the pairs, not just on the best ones. So if you want to be able to see, if you want to be able to replicate the kind of profits that we are showing you here, it is necessary for you to have to run them on all the pairs. But you can use different strategies, like say for example, on the best pairs you could slightly increase the lot sizes in order to see a little more profit than you would otherwise. So as of now, the very best pairs that we suggest are Bitcoin on both the modes, that's MTS as well as scalper mode, followed by Euro GBP, GBP CHF, USD CAD, and Euro USD in the scalper mode. And as usual, as always, from the very first version of FapTurbo1, Euro CHF has always remained the safest and most stable currency pair that you could trade on with our FapTurbo2 robots. I mean, it's been one of those pairs that it's given steady profits over the years, and we think of it affectionately as being like the stalwart of amongst all of the pairs, besides Bitcoin, of course. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we go about the actual optimization of our robots. And I did mention a particular phrase or term earlier called the focus periods. Now, see, the thing is, the one way of thinking of it is it this way. We like to train our robots in such a way that they produce more profits over the next few upcoming months. All right, so let's say, for example, right now we're in March, and if we were to run an optimization routine right now, we'd want to make sure that the next few months will be profitable for you members. So our focus would be, let's say, for example, from February right up till June. Now we try to do it in months, say about 3 to 4 months at a time, so that we have plenty of time to do optimizations for the next round. And it'll also give you a lot of time to test to see how well the robot does. And as of now, with the current, the latest optimized settings that we've been using with the very latest FapTurbo 2.3 beta version, the results that we've had in just less than 3 weeks have been astounding. Honestly, I think it's one of the best versions that we've come up with so far, and I'm very optimistic about it, which is why I'm very excited to have to talk about it as well. So coming back to what we were talking about with respect to the focus periods, another way of looking at it is to imagine that it's like putting blinders on a horse, and forcing it to focus on the path ahead of it. So this range of the next 3 to 4 months is what we refer to as the focus period. And when we consider the profits generated by the robots, especially during the focus periods over the past 5 years, that's what came up to a total of $420,000. Coming back to how we go about this, just FYI, what you ought to know is that we've actually developed our own optimization code and procedure that generates tons of highly detailed statistics, way more than what MT4's optimizer provides. As part of our optimization approach, we train our robots on high quality historical data from the brokers, but at the same time we want to make sure that our robots are not just simply tweaked to fit past data alone. In other words, we want our robots to be able to generalize as well, just as soon as we have newer and newer market data coming in. So when we optimize them, what we do is we split the historical data into two parts, which is what you see here. The first part is usually for training, and the second part is for testing, and we ensure that that they do not overlap with each other. So for example, if we were to take data from 2014 alone, we'd split the data in such a way that data from the month of January 2014 to the end of October, that's 10 months, is utilized only for trading, while the remaining 4 months of the more recent data from November to February 2015 are kept aside for testing. And based on how well the robots do during the testing period, we selectively handpick the best settings which we eventually upload to our servers, and those are the best optimized settings that our robots will eventually download and automatically apply to their trading logic. Now the point here to remember is that while the robots are optimized on training data, they're not allowed to be optimized on testing data. So no one can ever accuse us of saying that the robot has been highly fitted to make it look like as if it trades highly successfully on past data alone. Besides that, I mean, what we're showing you right here is actually a simplification of our entire optimization procedure. There's much more that goes into it that we're not showing you here. But what you have to understand is before we ever release any of the latest settings, we test and we test and we test it to death before we finally do so. We basically take great pains to ensure that our robots are not being overfitted to historical market data. And besides that, besides splitting historical data, we take it one step further by forcing the robots to focus on the particular range of months. And this is what I was referring to earlier with respect to the focus periods. And in this case, our focus period has been the months from November to February over the past 5 years. So if you want to understand how this works, imagine if you are a manual trader, and imagine you're using a sliding window along with your favorite technical indicators. And when you do so, you start to notice certain repeated patterns that emerge over the years. And that's what we do in a nutshell. What this allows us to do is to force the robot to examine common cyclical patterns that may emerge over this particular month range over the past 5 years. A simple example is how the Forex market tends to react in similar patterns to, say, for example, annual holidays like Easter, Xmas, New Year's, certain bank holidays, and even a few high-impact events that occur every year during these focus periods. So, in a way, this allows the robot to prepare itself for possible similarities in upcoming market price action during the coming year. And these are the kind of hidden cycles that may present themselves over the recent focus period, which we then extrapolate as projected returns for the near future. So let me assure you about this. This is not a trivial optimization or selection process. As of now, we have completed optimizations from November up to April. So this is the focus period that we are now going to be taking into consideration for our upcoming FapTurbo 2.3 release. As of now, the 2.3 version is under beta testing. If we start beta testing it halfway through February last month. And what you need to remember is besides the MTS strategy, it also includes the new and improved flash algorithm, which I did mention earlier as well. So that's about it with respect to optimization. Now let's take a quick look at the statistics that we have on this page. This is what you're seeing here is highly detailed statistics that come from not only our optimization and testing procedure, but also from all the forward testing and beta testing that we've been doing. All right, there's a lot of data that's packed into this one table alone, and but what you're seeing here is just the tip of the iceberg, because this is merely a summary that's been extracted from a highly detailed optimization process. So let's just take a look at each one of these columns one by one. The very first one is obviously the pairs, and the preset number of the very latest optimized settings that have been uploaded to the server. So these numbers that you see here, the preset numbers that you see in the second column, are the numbers that you should see on your own charts when FapTurbo 2.2 or 2.3 is running, and on each pair. That's how you know that you are running the very latest preset. In any case, as long as you have the latest version and you have an active internet connection, there should be nothing to prevent the robot from downloading the very latest optimized settings from our server. Now, the third column is where we have the meat of the matter. This is the net profit and loss starting from January 2010 right up to last month. Okay, and this includes all the profits generated, especially during the focus periods, which has been, for a lack of a better term, the main focus of our attention. Okay, so as you can see on Bitcoin alone, that's BTC scalper, we made like a profit of $150,000, and what you have to remember is that these are based on one lot or equivalent. Okay, and we've explained this in our manuals as well. All right, the lot contract size on Bitcoin is different. It's actually 100 times higher than what you would see on the regular pairs. Okay, so 0.01 lots on a regular pair is the same as what you would see as one lot on Bitcoin. Okay, so like I said, we've explained this in our manual, so please take the time to read through our manuals as well. Now, with these kind of profits on Bitcoin, we've managed to do so with net win percentages of 88% and close to 61.5. What you notice here is the fact that despite the fact that it's only 61.5, the BTC MTS mode managed to generate $174,000. So you see, it's not always about having to hit a very high accuracy percentage. What you have to consider is the fact that it's your accuracy along with the size of the take profits and how well the robot is good at closing those profits as soon as possible before the trend changes. And that's what we've always been doing when it comes down to designing and redesigning and improving our robots. It's all about having to spot those changes in the trend, the main trends especially. And yeah, so besides Bitcoin, the next best pair that you see listed there is GBP CHF. That's 55 total profit loss of $55,000, followed by Euro GBP and USD CAD, and then you have Euro CHF as well. And that's with respect to the net profit and loss over the past 5 years. What I'd like to do is pay attention to these columns starting here, all right, starting from the trading profit onwards. Now, it's very easy for anyone to make it look like your robot has been, highly optimized to show very high profits on training data alone. So even though the figures here are high, what's really interesting is the very next column, which is the test and focus profits that were generated by the robot immediately after training. Okay, so how you can think of it is that during training, it's like we're holding the robot's hands and we're guiding it, and we're telling it, we're making it understand that this is how it should react to various market situations. And once the training is done, during the test focus period, we let go of the robot's hand, and the robot is generating these profits entirely on its own. All right. So the profits that you see here under the test focus period column are profits that were generated by the robot without any further guidance from us. Okay, and this is something that's really cool, because if you were to take a look at not only the profits but also the trade win percentage here during the recent focus period, it's, you know, a lot of these figures are more than 75%. There's only one of it which is in the 60s, and that's a really great trade win percentage to combine with the profits that you're seeing here. All right, so the thing is, we can run a whole bunch of numbers, you know, for you and tell you that this is what the robot will generate. But at the end of the day, what really matters for you, since you're the end user, is the fact that you know, how much is the robot generating for you on your account. And it's not, like I said earlier, it's not just about the robot and how well it's been trained or how well it's been optimized. It's also dependent on how well the robot works on the broker that you have your account at. And again, like I said, we'll talk about this a little while later as well. Yeah, the one thing I did want to mention though about Bitcoin is the fact that the profit figures that you're seeing here is the robot's performance starting from 2013 onwards, not 2010. That's for Bitcoin alone. All right, for the rest of the pairs, for the rest of the regular pairs, the profit figures that you see were from 2010. But for Bitcoin, it's from 2013 onwards, because prior to 2013, Bitcoin's price was just a little above $10 per BTC, and in terms of tradability, it wasn't all that great. But from the graphs that you can see later on, our robots have traded very profitably despite the bubble bursts that occurred at the end of 2013. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see this very clearly here. These last couple of columns show you the focus total net win percentage for these various pairs. And what this means is this is what the win percentage was like during the more recent focus periods in combination, over the past 5 years alone. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot of data packed in here, and a great deal of the statistical data that we derived from our optimization process is not even included in this table. So if any of you have questions, or if you'd like to know more about or clarify certain things about this particular table, please feel free to email us at premium@FapTurbo2.com, and we'll be glad to explain certain of these concepts to you. Not a problem. So moving forward, the one thing that everyone does love at the end of the day is a good-looking graph. So this is what our equity graphs look like for Bitcoin in both the modes. That's medium-term strategy, MTS, and the scalper mode. And like I said, prior to 2013, we were not trading on Bitcoin. And from the graphs, you can also see that the robots did trade profitably. And this was despite the fact that there was the bubble burst that occurred towards the end of 2013, when BTC's price touched $1,200 and then collapsed almost immediately following the panic selling that came shortly after. And let's not forget the empty GOX crash in February 2014 as well. So what I'm trying to say here is that despite the fact that we've seen a lot of volatility in Bitcoin over the past 1.5 years, the robots have done a good job of maintaining the profitability. And what you also notice is that you don't have dips at the times at which those particular crashes occurred, which means that the robot was the robot is good at being able to identify if there is a potential turn, and if there is high volatility, then it stays out of that action until the market stabilizes itself. So despite these intermediate crashes, the BTC robot will still manage to generate profits despite the panic sells, and that's the great advantage of letting our BTC robot trade for you, instead of you simply buying and holding Bitcoins. You see, if you were to buy and hold Bitcoin, then the value of your Bitcoin portfolio will experience drawdowns based on fluctuations in the actual value of Bitcoin itself. So what we're saying here is that trading with our robots on Bitcoin offers you safety and a much better advantage than the usual buy and hold approach, which is usually employed by most of the amateur investors in the cryptocurrency world. Now, Bitcoin will always remain a highly volatile currency, and there are many naysayers who claim that the future of Bitcoin is shaky, but we don't believe that's the case at all. It's a great cryptocurrency, and it's got a solid operational basis. So there will always be people trading in Bitcoin, and because of the fact that it is a limited market, there will be a lot of fluctuations. But that's exactly what allows us to profit from it as well. So, the final proof is in the pudding, so we'd encourage you to try out our BTC FapTurbo2 robot for yourself on Bitcoin and see how well it trades for you. Moving forward, okay, so here what we have are the equity graphs for FapTurbo version 2.2, and that was on Euro USD as well as GBP USD. This was during the focus periods along with profits from the last year. But what I'd really like to talk to you about is our very latest flash algorithm, which is included in the new FapTurbo version 2.3 Premium robot. Right now, like I said, right now version 2.3 is under beta testing, but we hope to release it towards the end of this month, at which point it will be made available through both our brokers. So FapTurbo version 2.3 will be pre-installed in both Tallinex as well as FxChoice's MetaTraders at the end of the month. In the meantime, what you can see here are the profits that were generated by the flash algorithm starting from January 2010 onwards till right up till last month. Now this is including all the optimization data that I'd shown you earlier in the previous slides. But more importantly, on this slide here, what I'm showing you are actual real live results that were obtained on Tallinex by our FapTurbo version 2.3 robot, and that was while trading the combined strategy of the medium term plus flash together. Okay, and in less than 3 weeks, okay, it's barely like about 17 days. In less than 3 weeks, this version actually generated $16,000 at one lot on each pair, and that's outstanding. Seriously, there were a few losses along the way, but if we were to count the number of profitable trades versus the losers, they far outweigh the latter. And we're, like I said, we're highly optimistic about this version, and we're going to be keeping our fingers on the pulse to see how well the version fares during the rest of the beta testing phase. And once that's done, then it'll be good to go, and we'll make sure that it's available to all of you, so you'll be able to start generating profits like this as well. Now, besides the MTS and flash strategy, like I said, our FapTurbo2 robots includes the legacy scalper as well. This legacy scalper actually reflects what our previous FapTurbo scalper used to be like, or rather how it used to trade. And it trades on most of the crosses and the major pairs. But mostly during the early Aussie/Asian sessions. That's when that's how it was. That was how it was programmed. It was programmed to focus on those particular sessions because at that point in time, at least when FapTurbo was designed, that's when the maximum profits were generated by the scalper. Right. So. One more thing that I'd like to focus on, or rather talk to you about here, is the fact that these graphs may look like they're extremely smooth or fitted or whatever it may be, but more importantly, what you should notice is the fact that the robot does a really good job of recovering from losses. Now it's very simple, or it's very easy for anyone to say that the robot may generate great profits over the long term, but what's also important is how well it recovers from losses along the way. Okay, and as you can see, let's say for example with respect to the flash strategy, As you can see in the Euro GBP slide, or rather the chart, you have had a couple of losses along the way, but despite those intermediate bumps, the robots manages to pick off and still continue to do really well after that. And that's what we're looking for. We're not always looking for robots that will just simply generate a nice straight line. We want to see how well the robot will do, even if it does stumble along the way. Because at the end of the day, we have to be realistic about these robots. We can't pretend that the robot is always going to give you 99% winning trades every single time. To do so is just simply, you're not being realistic about your own robot then, if that's the case. Another thing that I'd like to also repeat or reiterate is the fact that we've given you the option to run Flash combined with the MTS mode on the very same chart. So normally what you'd have to do is you'd have to open a separate chart for every different strategy you intend to run. But with version 2.3, you only have to open the usual 7 charts of the regular pairs, excluding Bitcoin, because Flash doesn't run on Bitcoin, and just drop the FapTurbo version 2.3 version robot onto it. And you can have both FapTurbo2 MTS strategy as well as Flash running simultaneously on the same chart, as you can see. So this combination serves to deliver a solid punch from both the strategies, so to speak, and at the same time it also saves on your CPU processing power as well as memory, since you don't have to open additional charts. Plus it also helps to save space within your Meditator terminal. Okay, so now that we've talked about the robot's performance statistics and we've shown you the graphs, let's talk about its benefits. What is it that makes our robot so profitable and safe? But first of all, like I mentioned earlier, the one thing that you don't have to worry about is having to manually tweak the robot. No more hassles with manual updates or settings. All you have to do is just restart your Meditator 4 whenever we send out an announcement that the latest optimized settings have been uploaded to our servers. All you have to do is just restart your Meditator, and then the robot will automatically download the latest optimized presets from our servers and then apply them. And besides downloading the latest optimized presets, it also has inbuilt fail-safes. Now, if for any reason it's unable to contact our servers and not obtain the latest settings, so to speak, it'll check to see what the previous settings were. It actually makes a backup of the latest settings on your own computer, on your local system, and it retrieves that. So at no point will you ever be left hanging without the best settings for the robot. So besides the automatic download and fail-safes, the one thing that's really great is the fact that the MTS along with the Flash strategies give you larger take profits, and there are no more issues with Asian session spreads, which means that the spreads are not going to eat into the take profits, into your profits, so much so that you feel like you're not earning enough despite the fact that you're running the robot for so long. Okay, and that was something that used to happen with our previous scalper, but not anymore. And finally, you have like the advanced trading formula, which includes not only just your trailing stops or the break-even feature. We also have additional entry and exit filters, which a lot of our existing FapTurbo2 members are very familiar with. And also it has an automatic max spread determination, which is where if for any reason the spread on a broker were to increase beyond a certain point, and that's a very rare thing with our preferred brokers. It's very rare that the spreads will go beyond the max spreads that we have set. But if in case it were to do so, even for whatever reason, even if it's a very temporary thing, the robot will temporarily deactivate itself. It will stop trading until the spread returns to a much more favorable level, and then it will resume trading. All right. There are many more developments, many more features in our robots that have been clearly mentioned in our manuals and in our videos. And this is exactly why we also insist that all our members take the time to go through the members area, to go through the videos, because everything has already been explained to you in detail. There are many more developments coming up this year as well that we have in store for you. Besides the current version 2.3 beta that's going to be released later this month. We don't really want to reveal too much right now, but the one thing that we have included in the version 2.3 robot is the ability for it to limit itself to a specific trend. Okay, and what I mean by that is we can remotely switch the robot to trade either long or short, or at certain cases, if necessary, we can even remotely switch the robot not to trade at all. Okay, this was sort of available in the previous versions, but not in terms of trends. But from this point on, starting from version 2.3, we have included that particular feature, and something I didn't mention earlier, but there's a lot more. It may seem like a very simple thing on the surface. Superficially, it may seem like it's a very simple feature, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind that. There's a lot of optimization and a lot of coding that goes behind it. And that's not something I want to reveal too much about right now. That'll probably be a topic for a later webinar, because we're actually going to be coming down to the point where we might even develop an indicator for our members to run on MetaTrader alongside with our FapTurbo2 robots. But that particular indicator will be initially in development phase, and it'll be given to our members merely for testing to see how it works. But all of the stuff is right now just in the pipeline. So like I said, there are a lot more developments that are happening this year, and we have a lot in store for you. 2015 holds a lot of promise for all of us. So we're really glad that you're part of the FapTurbo family and that you're along with us for the ride. Okay, so we've talked a lot about FapTurbo2 and BTC, our robots. Now, besides our very own robots, we are also closely affiliated with the GPS Forex team. The GPS Forex robot is also great for maximizing profits alongside our robot. Okay, you can actually run GPS Forex in addition to FapTurbo2 for a small extra fee, and you'll be able to find out more about this in the members area. Okay, the one thing that we should mention is the fact that GPS Forex is already pre-installed on MyFxChoice, and you'll be able to see its results on MyFxBook. There's a link to it which we can send you if you were to just simply email us, or you could just simply take it down from here on the screen. If ever you have any queries about GPS Forex, please make sure that you email them directly. Even if you were to email us, at the end of the day, we would simply forward your emails to them. So it's best that you contact them directly. And their email address is support@gpsforexrobot.com. Okay? And just to give you an idea of what GPS Forex MyFix page looks like, this is what its trading results are. Okay, and you can find out more about GPS Forex from their team. Like I said, just email them directly and they'll be glad to give you all the information that you may require. All right. Now, what I'd like to do is quickly talk about why we emphasize on our preferred brokers, that is Tallinex and MyFxChoice. You see, we have been with other brokers before. It's not like we haven't. But out of all the brokers that we've traded and interacted with, in comparison, Tallinex and MyFxChoice give us really great spreads. And what we also love about these brokers is that they treat our premium members with higher priority. They have excellent customer service, and as our premium members, they also offer you deposit bonuses. More than anything else, both these brokers have really great trading environments with really slick, fast execution times. And all of this is what amounts to a conducive platform for profitable trading with our FapTurbo2 robots. So like I said earlier, no matter how good our robots' algorithms or strategies may be, everything can fall flat on its face if you're not trading on a good broker. And this is why it's so important to have accounts at trustworthy brokers. And out of all the brokers, like I said, The only two that we really trust and recommend for BTC and FapTurbo2 are Tallinex and FxChoice. I'm now going to hand over the session to Adam from Tallinex, and he's going to talk to you about Tallinex in detail and what Tallinex has to offer you in just a second. Adam?
Thanks, Alex. Am I back online?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, hi again. As Alex has been explaining, there are lots of different brokers out there, and there are lots of different reasons why you might or might not want to go with one of them. Mostly that's going to come down to whether you're trying to trade profitably, and that's really why Tallinex was formed in the first place. In the broker market, there are really two variants. You have the retail broker market, which generally attracts people with small balances, you know, the $100, $500, that kind of level. And then you have the institutional brokerage market, which is targeting people with six-figure and upwards trading accounts. And that's really where Tallinex placed itself initially. Most of the people that started Tallinex came from the institutional side of the business, and they had their views on how things should go forward. What they didn't really consider, and it's turned into a huge bonus for a lot of people, is that new technology would allow the same facilities that the big guys demand, the institutional clients. It would allow those facilities to be made available to effectively retail traders. And this has worked out so much better than we ever imagined, particularly because we have the association with the FapTurbo team. So what really happened was Tallinex started at the end of 2012. We were talking with fund managers, high net worth traders, people coming in $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 accounts, and to make sure that we could give them really good service, we produced a lot of our own technology. This then kind of threw its head over the parapet and, hang on a minute, we've got all this really good stuff going on. We can afford to bring small traders in to work with Tallinex and give them all of the advantages that an institutional trader would normally expect. So that includes things like low spreads, which obviously very, very important when you're trading some of the strategies built into the later FapTurbos. Deep liquidity. When you trade with a broker, one of the biggest problems that you can face is liquidity. There have been quite a few very popular expert advisors launched over the years, and what tended to happen was that lots of people would gravitate to one particular broker, all trading the same robot, and they would find that the robot suddenly wasn't profitable anymore. And what was causing it wasn't a problem with the robot itself, but a problem caused by the robot. Because these are automated strategies, they all see the same thing at the same time, so they all want to place a trade at the same time. And if there isn't enough liquidity there, people don't get their trades placed. And so, because Tallinex is effectively an institutional brokerage, we have huge amounts of liquidity, which means we could have tens of thousands of FapTurbo clients all trading at the same time, and nobody would notice any difference. So that really does help anyone trading expert advisors, and particularly expert advisors like FapTurbo. The other thing which helps the smaller account holders is leverage. When you want to open a trade, you have margin requirements for each position you open. With the new FapTurbos trading several pairs and also trading several strategies on individual pairs, you can very quickly run out of free margin, which means you can't trade anymore. To get around that problem, we basically give you very high leverage. The maximum that we offer is 1 to 1,000, which I don't think anyone would ever run out of money trading that at that level. So you can quite safely be running all of the strategies that FapTurbo offers without having to worry about needing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in your account to make sure you have enough margin to do it, which is what would happen at most other brokerages. So for those of you that are new and don't actually understand what margin is, when you trade one lot that Alex was talking about earlier, one lot is effectively 100,000 of whatever the currency is. So if you're trading euro-dollar, it's 100,000 euros. If you have a brokerage offering you leverage of 1 to 100, that means you would need 1,000 euros equivalent in your account to be able to trade one lot. If you have 1 to 1,000 leverage, you only need $100 to do the same thing. And so it makes it much easier for you to take full advantage of all of the trade opportunities that FapTurbo 2.2, 2.3 offers you without needing to have a huge account behind it just to support the trading. And that allows you to increase your profitability, because if you only need, let's say, $1,000 to keep you safe, rather than $10,000, your profitability would be 10 times higher. So this works in everybody's benefit. The other things, as we go through, you'll see we use Prime XM as our bridge technology, and Prime is probably the leading bridge technology expert. They form the interface between a broker and liquidity providers, effectively the banks. There are lots of different bridges about. Prime is optimized for very, very high throughput of trades. So this is how we manage to get very good fills on all of the trades that we place, and it just makes sure that everything keeps running smoothly. If you look on the other side, you have different types of broker, and this goes back to why Alex was talking about MyFxChoice and Tallinex being their preferred brokers. Things that you don't usually find out unless you're trading with real money with a broker, and that's, first of all, ECN. If a broker is ECN, it means that they are putting your trades to the real Forex market. A lot of brokers loosely claim that they are, but they're really not. And unless you're trading with real money, it's usually very difficult for you to find out the truth. Same with STP, which stands for straight-through processing. The whole point of straight-through processing is that nobody's interfering with your trades. And this is something that I don't think Alex knows, but back in the very early days of FapTurbo, I actually worked for an investment fund, and we had, in those days, some moderate clients, but their accounts were all in the kind of 50 to 80,000 range. And we were trading with a particular brokerage, and we were using FapTurbo. This was one of the very early versions that had the legacy scalper strategy as the main basis. And the broker was purporting to be very upfront and trading the whole market, except that we were making so much money with FapTurbo for these clients that they told us to stop using FapTurbo or they would close all the client accounts down. And this is a perfect example of a broker that is not putting your trades to the market, so they're not ECN, which means they're basically trading against you. And this is something which has caused so many problems for retail traders, where they think they're trading with a reliable broker, and the broker is really just sitting there waiting to either let them lose or make them lose. And that just comes to the last option there, which is the NDD, which means no dealing desk. Tallinex is a non-dealing broker, and what that means is that if you place a trade, it just goes straight through us, through our STP channel, to the real Forex market, and you get the best price that we can get from all the banks that are dealing with us. There are other brokers who have dealers in place, and this one's easier to spot. When you place a trade, you find that your trade doesn't actually go through, and you have to wait, and you put it through again and again and again, and eventually it will get placed, but the price you get is nowhere near where you wanted. Or when you're trying to close a trade, it takes you a long time to close it, and you end up making a much smaller profit or possibly even a loss. It's a very popular thing with a lot of brokers, and it's just something that they can get away with retail traders that they would never be able to get away with if they were dealing with institutional clients. So again, this is kind of another knock-on bonus for people trading with Tallinex, because our main business is institutional. The last thing we would do is have anybody there messing with trades, because it would just ruin our business overnight. So you have a lot of flexibility with us, a lot of technology behind what we do, and even more of an advantage, we offer this to basically everybody, and that includes people who are based in the United States. There are a lot of very restrictive practices, as people there already know. Very low leverage, maximum is 1 to 50, which means you really can't trade much of anything unless you've mortgaged your house and put all of that money into your trading account. You can't do things like hedging, so strategies where on one currency pair you might have a strategy that is selling that currency pair, another strategy wants to buy at the same time. On a US trading account, you just wouldn't be able to do that, and that's why very few expert advisors work with US-based accounts. With us, it's not a problem. Everybody gets the same facilities. There are no restrictions, and we're really here trying to make people make money, because being an ECN, STP, NDD broker means we make our money if you make money. And that's a fairly critical thing to keep at the back of your mind. If you have a broker that only makes money when you do, then that broker is going to do everything they can to make sure that you're earning money, making profits, whatever strategy you're trying to trade. So can you switch over to the next slide, please, Alex? Thanks. So just going back over a couple of the points. So again, our deep liquidity. With a lot of brokers, they'll have adequate liquidity for most of the time. With us, because we have such big clients trading with us, we need to have huge amounts of liquidity available all of the time. If you've never seen somebody open a trade of 200 lots or 250 lots, then you really need to go and do that, because when you see somebody making thousands of dollars every time the price moves a pip, it really makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And that's what we have to provide for our institutional clients. It's what we also provide for all of our retail clients. So generally speaking, unless there's something major going on in the market, in which case the banks are kind of being a little bit edgy, you'll find we've got around 200 lots at every point value. So every point, that's 10 points to a pip, so about 2,000 lots available for every pip price. And that's how we can cope with the fact that we might have thousands of people running FapTurbo, all trying to get their trades through at the same time, at the same price, and our systems can cope with it because we have the liquidity behind us and we have the prime bridge that's able to route that number of trade requests through in a fraction of a second. On the support side, as Alex said, we like MyFxChoice, we do our best to give premium support to FapTurbo clients. And we do that in as many ways as we can. We obviously have a telephone if it really comes to that. If it's an emergency, pick the phone up, somebody will talk to you. If you can't do that or you don't want to, we have live chat. Live chat staff operate in multiple languages, so they should be able to help you in most of the locations that we operate in. And if it's really not that important, drop us an email, or if you need to send us some screenshots, then drop us an email. But one of the things that we also do that very few brokers have followed up on is we will actually dive in and take over your computer if that's going to help you get going. We have remote support software that you can initiate, and one of our tech team will just take over. You can watch what they're doing while they're doing it, and if you've got a really, really complicated problem, that's probably the best way to solve it, and that's something that we offer to all clients. So keep that in mind if you feel that you need it. Honesty and transparency. Okay, we'll carry on to the next slide. It's okay. Honesty and transparency. As I said before, because of the nature of our business, the type of broker we are, we actually want all of our clients to be making money. And so we do everything we can to put as many tools in your pocket as we possibly can. And you're going to see a little bit later on some of the things that we've done to make sure that you're on the right road. We covered execution, that's okay, support, liquidity. Let's go to the next one, Alex.
There we go.
Okay, so as I said a little bit earlier, Tallinex is a no dealing desk and therefore a no conflict broker. There are so many people that come to us because they're finding that their trades are not making the money that they feel they should, and even with manual trading, it's the same kind of thing. 9 times out of 10, it's because the broker they're with has got a dealer in the way. Sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's software, but the result is always the same. When it sees that you're starting to make money, it's going to do something, either spike the price, change the spread, whatever it needs to do, delay your trade execution, issue a requote, just to make sure that you can't do what you need to do when you need to do it. And as soon as you see this kind of thing going on with a broker, you can basically guarantee that that broker is trading against you. So always keep that in the back of your mind. If you're not working with Tallinex, that's obviously your decision, but just advice for the future, look out when you see things that are strange. There's always a reason why they're happening. On our servers, we basically have no trading restrictions, which touched a little bit on earlier with the US clients, but in a larger sense, we really don't mind what you want to do when you're trading. The FapTurbo system is trading multiple strategies. It's all fine. They have the medium-term strategy. They have their scalpers. It's not causing a problem for our system. It doesn't bother us when you win. It kind of bothers us when you lose, actually. But it's not affecting anything that we're doing with our servers. It doesn't affect anything with our account management. We have the liquidity there. We've got leverage to help people that are trying to trade multiple strategies. And the system is just set up to let you run. We have high-speed servers. We've got the high frequency that you can see there. To give you an idea of high frequency, we actually have one client who can trade something around 30,000 trades per day. And he does that when he wants to do it, mostly when there's going to be a move in the market. And it's really, really impressive to see it happen. You're not going to be trading that fast with FapTurbo, although it'd be great if you did. But the point I'm trying to make is that whatever you want to throw at our systems, they're going to just take it and keep running. And that's the important thing for you, to have that knowledge that whatever you want to do while you're trading, it's cool. Spreads, again, touched on that earlier. Because we have such huge volume going through, we work with a large number of banks and liquidity providers. And so what that allows us to do is to get the best prices that are out in the market. Our systems aggregate all the prices that are available, and they then fire through the best fills for each trade that goes through our server. So when you're placing your trades, if you're trading manually, or if you want to trade if you are trading the FapTurbo strategies, when the system sees a trigger point, it's going to get the price it needs to make sure those trades are more profitable for you. And the other corner, we have safety of funds. There's so many things going on in the market at the moment. If you think back to just last month with the Swiss National Bank fiasco, some of the biggest brokers in the world really, really struggling. Some have gone out of business. Some are now trying to get back into the market. The important thing is keeping clients' money safe, and that's exactly what we do. With the kind of clients that we deal with on our institutional side, we have to be working with some of the biggest, most respected names in the banking industry. People like Bank of America, HSBC, Chase Manhattan, all of the major institutions, all very highly regulated and very, very reputable. And so when you're depositing your funds with Tallinex, those are the places where we basically put your money when you're not trading. When it is trading, we send it off to the liquidity providers to cover your margin, but the rest of your balance is sitting in these big banks all around the world. So we have very, very safe and secure systems in place. Okay, on to the next one, Alex.
There you go.
Thank you kindly. As I was saying, the safety of funds. One of the things that we're very, very keen to promote is the fact that all client funds are segregated. This is hugely important. If anything goes wrong with a broker and your funds, or they keep your funds in a segregated account, it means that your money is completely safe. There are a lot of brokers, this would be going back probably about 2 or 3 years, in Cyprus, who had funds in accounts that were not really segregated. And when the economy collapsed in Cyprus, it meant a lot of people started losing money because the way the banks had been set up, or the bank accounts had been set up for the brokers, the clients' funds were in a position where the government could just say, well, we're going to have some of that, thank you very much. And so there's a lot of retail Forex traders who are now investors in the Cypriot government banking system. That doesn't even come into play or into focus with Tallinex, because all of the money that we hold for your clients is set in accounts that don't belong effectively to Tallinex as a business. So you can be very, very safe and secure, or you can feel very, very safe and secure, because that's exactly as your money is. We also have internal and external auditing teams who go over all of our processes on a regular basis. They check all of the transactions and make sure that everything is running smoothly and that clients are being well looked after from an accounting point of view. So again, that's something that you can just feel a bit calmer about, I hope. And from a technology point of view, if you come to our website, you'll notice immediately that the whole site runs secure. It's HTTPS, so we're using bank-style encryption on everything, even the public pages of our website. And that's to make sure that people can't oversee what you're doing if you're putting personal information in on our back office, or you're doing an online deposit. Your transactions, your details, they're all totally safe and secure because it's fully encrypted between our server and your web browser, so nobody else is looking at what's going on, nobody can steal your information. And let's go to the next one. Okay, and here we are on the ECN micro account type. As Alex was saying, this is proven to be an ideal account style for trading the FapTurbo2 robots. And as you can see, we have commission-free trades. This is an alternate style. Some accounts will charge a commission for each trade. We don't do that on the ECN micro accounts because it complicates things, and there's really just no need to do it. The leverage we offer up to 1 to 1,000, as I've said, which means that even if you've got a smaller account, you're still going to be able to take full advantage of all the strategies that FapTurbo offers and do that on all of the pairs. We do have a very low opening deposit requirement. It's only $100 or €100. That's fine if you want to just get started with FAP. But actually, if you're trying to get into the premium level, then you really need to be starting at minimum $500, ideally $1,000. Again, we don't have any dealing desks on the micro accounts, or a lot of other brokers do. We don't need to because we're just putting the trade straight out to the market, so the results really make no difference to us. Very important, no requotes, because when you don't have liquidity, there's often not somebody to take the other side of your trade. And if you don't fully understand Forex or trading generally, it's what they call a zero-sum game. So if you want to buy euro-dollar, there has to be someone else willing to sell you euro-dollar. When you have brokers with minimal liquidity, there are frequently times where they can't find somebody to take the other side of your trade. So with us, because we have that institutional level liquidity for all of the pairs, you never see a requote. When your system puts the trade order through, it just settles there and then. And that's really the important stuff to tell you about the ECN micro accounts. So we can shoot on to the next slide, if you would, Alex. And here we go. I wanted to talk a bit about bonuses, because there are a lot of brokers that offer these, and as with the other things that I've mentioned, some brokers will try to make their bonus look a bit more special, but actually they're not really doing you a favor, and this is why. If we just go down one line at a time, Tallinex, as we mentioned right at the beginning, offers a 100% deposit bonus, and there's a good reason for that. We want people to be profitable, and if they're profitable, they're going to deposit, and if they deposit, we want them to get the maximum back, so 100% seems fairly reasonable. If you look at other brokers, some will offer you less than 100%, some will offer you more, but if you really look around, you'll find that most don't offer you a bonus at all. So we want to have that, if you like, that gifting attitude. It doesn't affect us if you get a bonus. We actually want you to qualify for it, and the other reasons that you'll see below help that to come to be. The first thing, when you get a bonus, a broker needs you to trade a certain amount of lots to qualify. For ours, we have a very, very low requirement, and again, the reason we do that is because we don't need to have a high requirement. The whole objective of giving somebody a bonus is to try and make sure they can actually earn it. Most brokers seem to have an attitude of, we'll give a bonus to encourage people to come and join us, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure they never qualify. And that, in our eyes, is truthfully just wrong. It's a moral thing for us. And very tightly tied to that, you'll find a lot of brokers who offer a bonus will give you a time limit. There's one broker that's no longer trading, absolutely notorious for it, would offer you a bonus that a fairly active trader would take at least a year to qualify for, and they would put a 12 or 10 or an 8-week time limit on it. So they knew before they gave you a bonus that you were never ever going to win it. With us, we have no time limit. If it takes you a month, a year, 5 years, it doesn't matter. The bonus is there, it's yours. As soon as you qualified, have the money with our blessing. We also give you a bonus for every deposit you make. Lots of people don't want to come in and throw $10,000 into an account right off the bat, and we understand that. If you're putting $100 or $500 or $1,000, that's fine. Every single deposit you make qualifies as a bonus with us. With a lot of brokers, you'll find it only applies to the initial deposit if they're offering a bonus at all. And that, again, it seems unfair, because if somebody is depositing money, why shouldn't they get a little bit back? Because they're going to be trading with you anyway. So nobody's really being hurt by this. It's just a case of trying to get people in and not have to pay anything out. So we have bonus on every deposit, no time limit, and we keep it really low to make sure that people can actually qualify. The other thing that is a bit naughty in our view is that when most brokers give you a bonus, they add it to your account balance. This does look good, but it's not good for you. And the reason is this. When a bonus gets added to your account, it skews your leverage. It skews your equity. What they're actually doing by giving you a bonus as part of your account balance is faking higher leverage. Because we already give you very high leverage anyway, we don't need to do that. You don't need us to do that. So we put your bonus into a bonuses section in our back office, and it stays there regardless of what happens with your account. So when you're trading, your account only has your money in it. Because it's only got your money in it, your account equity is easy to track. When you've got bonus thrown in there, your equity is not so obvious. And what we've found through research is that by having bonus added to the account balance, the accounts are much more prone to being stopped out because expert advisors don't understand what's bonus and what is your money, and so they will place trades which are not appropriate to your account, your real account balance. And that can end up obviously in a very unpleasant situation for the account holder. And so by keeping your bonus money completely separate from your trading money, we get around that problem, and expert advisors actually work completely correctly on our accounts because of that. We also decided that we didn't want to restrict what people could do with the money, which is the next point on the list. With a lot of brokers who offer you a bonus, you'll find that if you want to withdraw any of your capital, or in some cases if you want to withdraw anything at all, you immediately lose your bonus. With us, we've gone completely the other way. At the end of the day, it's your money. So if you want to withdraw some, you need to withdraw all of it. Sometimes people have emergencies, family emergencies, they need to get hold of cash quickly. We're not going to take your bonus away just because you had to take the money out of the account. We retain exactly where you were. So if you've traded, I don't know, let's say 50 lots, and you need to trade 100 lots before you get your bonus qualification, well, that's fine. You take your money out. When you want to get trading again, you make a new deposit, you carry on from the 50 lot position, and you're that much closer to receiving your bonus. So we've given this a lot of thought over the last few months, and we've tried to put together a bonus offer that is very, very fair for all of our clients. We don't restrict people in what they can do. We help them as much as we can. We keep their entitlement, and at the end of the day, our whole objective is to have people earning bonuses. That's the whole point of giving one. So that's our bonus system, and that applies to, again, all clients, every deposit, and we actually have a bonuses page in our back office where you can track your progress of every deposit and how you're getting on earning that deposit amount back. So hopefully you'll get a lot of accounts signed up with Tallinex if you don't have one already, and you'll be able to track all of this and see exactly where you are at all times. Okay, Alex, can you do the next slide, please?
Here we go.
And this is the other bonus that we're very proud of. Obviously, a lot of brokers do offer a VPS to their clients. We've decided to go right to the top of the tree with this, and the best VPS providers anywhere are a company called Beeks FX. We've partnered with Beeks, and what they're doing for all of our clients is putting VPSs in the best possible location, and the best possible location is right where the trading server is. Just as an extra bonus, our trading servers are right where all the liquidity providers are, the banks and the funds that are providing the liquidity to our clients. So in one building in the Equinix data center in London, we have liquidity providers, Tallinex trading servers, and Tallinex VPSs. That means that when you're using one of our VPSs, there is almost no time delay between your expert advisor wanting to place a trade and that trade actually getting placed. Typically, we look at less than 1 millisecond between your expert advisor asking for a trade and us actually going out to the market and getting it for you. With most VPSs, if you're lucky, you'll be sited somewhere near the trade server. Same city if you're really lucky, usually same country if you hunt around a bit. Most of the time it's going to be same continent, which means that that 1 millisecond latency that you'd see with our servers will be up around the 10 to 20 millisecond mark with a good VPS somewhere else. For some strategies it doesn't matter too much, but when you're doing price critical trading, such as the legacy scalping strategy in the new FapTurbos, every millisecond really does count, and so that's why we've gone right to the top of the tree, as I said, to get the best possible VPSs in the best location from the best company that provides them. And we've done it in such a way that if you're trading a very minimal amount each month, the VPS is completely free. So I hope lots of people like the idea of that and want to take advantage. We have a panel that will be visible in our back office over the weekend where new clients can request a VPS, and depending on when you do it during the week, we can often get your VPS set up within 60 minutes, which is fairly good. If we're really pushed or there's lots of people requesting at the same time, then it will take possibly a few hours, but should always be the same day if all has gone to plan. And one just very critical point here, there is no subscription with our VPS. A lot of brokers that are offering VPSs work on the basis of go here, take out a subscription on your credit card, and every month, if you've traded enough with us, tell us about it, and then we'll put that money in your trading account to cover the cost. That just seems like a very long-winded way of doing things, and so we decided we won't do it. So we have no separate subscription. You don't have to come and ask for a refund every month for your VPS charges. We just set the VPS up for you and leave you to trade. As long as you trade the required volume, it's fine. If you trade less than the required volume, all that we will do is make a charge against your trading account, so you don't have to set anything extra up to operate with one of our VPSs. And if you decide at some point you don't want it, that's fine. You can just cancel. There's no cooling off period. There's no waiting 3 months or whatever. So that's basically what we're offering, especially for the FapTurbo users, because most of the things I've talked about are fairly critical to the way that FapTurbo operates. And we hope that you take full advantage of all of them. So I'll thank Alex for his time, and I'll hand him back now.
All right. Thank you very much, Adam. That was really in-depth and highly detailed, and it's always great to hear from our preferred brokers, especially when you clearly explain how exactly your brokerage operates and how it benefits our members at the end of the day. So thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Yeah, and what I would like to do is to add to the point about having VPSs for our FapTurbo2 members. It's a great thing that Tallinex is setting up the VPS service and making it available for our members, and MyFxChoice as well. What we'd like to tell our members is that if you need remote assistance with your VPSs, once they're all set up with the pre-installed MetaTraders, if for any reason you feel that your FapTurbo2 setup is not optimal, or if you feel it needs to be looked into, all you have to do is just send us your login information, and we'll take care of the FapTurbo2 setup remotely for you. It makes it easier for us to help you, and at the same time you don't have to worry about a thing. Yeah, but just there is a thing that I would like to emphasize is the fact that as part of our premium support, see, at the end of the day, um, our um, our preference, or rather our focus, is on having to make sure that we give the best possible service, especially to our customers who are trading on live accounts. Now, there will be many of our members who will be testing out FapTurbo maybe on demos. So between the two, we will always give preference to customers who are on live accounts first. So if you were to come to us with a request for having to check into your VPS, we'll make sure we'll get that taken care of, because that's at the top of our premium support priority. Okay, so now that we finished off with having to talk about our brokers and what they offer you and the VPS services, what I'd like to quickly run through is the future developments and about having to join our FapTurbo2 beta tester group. As of now, what's been happening is that the very latest FapTurbo version 2.3, which plus Flash Premium Robot, and that's basically the MTS and legacy scalper along with the Flash algorithm. This has been, it's already been under beta testing since mid-February last month, and the focus is on having to improve the settings for FapTurbo Flash. But as of now, from what we're seeing from the beta test so far is that the current settings are working great as they are. So we don't really see the need to have to tweak them right now. It may be necessary maybe in a few more months from now, but for now the settings are working great. So if there are any of our FapTurbo2 members who would like to become a beta tester for the remainder of this month of March, there are a few conditions that you'd have to satisfy in order to qualify becoming a beta tester. So the very first thing that we do insist on is that that you should have you should be familiar with our BTC and FapTurbo2 Premium robots, and you should be comfortable running with running these robots on your own MetaTrader, and you should be self-sufficient, at least technically speaking. It's not that we require you to have to debug stuff on your own, but to a certain extent, you should be able to handle the robot on your own MetaTrader and not have to run to us for every single minor issue. So that's something that we definitely insist on. And you can choose to run it on FXChoice and or Tallinex, or both preferably. That's what we would actually like to see. We'd like to see more of our members trading on both the brokers, so that we get to see how well the robot does on each platform, and if there's anything that needs to be done in order to tweak it to get better results on a specific broker, then that's what we're looking for. We're basically looking for information and feedback from our beta testers as to how we can improve our robots. Any beta tester should be willing to run the new FapTurbo version 2.3 Premium on a live funded account in order to report real live results, not just on a demo. Okay. Now, what you have to remember is that at the end of the day, a demo account is merely like it's an idealized environment, which is trading environment, which is simply meant to reflect what it might be like if you were trading on a live account. But it is never the same at the end of the day. Okay, you will always see better results on a demo account, and that does not really reflect how well the robot handles certain situations on a live account, which is why we're insisting that if you want to be a beta tester, you have to be willing to run the very latest version 2.3 beta on your live account. Okay, if you have a VPS, that's great. Okay, and it's highly beneficial for both sides if you were to have a VPS. So it makes things easier for you. It makes it easier for us as well if we need to troubleshoot the robot remotely, but it is not mandatory. All right, if you feel that you're technically sound and you're self-sufficient and you can handle the robot on your own MetaTrader on your local system, then please feel free to do so. All right. And besides these various conditions, one thing that we'll definitely require is for you to send in statements regularly from your live account, thereby reporting the trading results for version 2.3 pairwise, obviously, for all the strategies. And when we say all the strategies, as of now, we're focusing on what's known as the combined mode or trading mode 4. We'll talk more about this probably on the next webinar when we do like an even more in-depth feature on version 2.3 and Flash. But for now, what I'd like to say is that for those of you who join our beta tester group and you get to see the new version 2.3, what you'll notice is that we have a relatively new parameter which allows you to specify which particular strategy you'd like to run. Okay, and we have in this particular parameter there is an option which we refer to as mode 4, and mode 4 allows for MTS and Flash to trade simultaneously on the same chart. Okay, so we'll for those of you who want to go ahead and get started with beta testing the FapTurbo version 2.3 Premium, provided you meet the above qualifications, please email us at betatest@FapTurbo2.com with your name, your system configuration, trading setup, and live account numbers, and yes, most importantly, please make sure that you note down your starting balance, because obviously if you're going to be reporting profits or losses, you will have to compare it to the balance at which you started off with. Once you've commenced the beta test. I repeat once again, make sure you email us at betatest, not premium, okay? betatest@FapTurbo2.com with all the details, and then we'll help you get started with the new version 2.3 beta. Okay, so we've pretty much come to the end of this webinar, and in a few minutes we're going to be starting the Q&A session. I'll be activating the questions section here on the side, so you can type in your query into the question box. Please make sure you keep your questions brief and to the point. You can definitely send us questions regarding FapTurbo 2.3 or about if you have any broker-related questions as well. Emily will be monitoring your queries over here. We won't be able to answer everyone's queries, obviously, so we will be picking out the more pertinent ones, and we'll do our best to address them as well as we can. Just as a last reminder, please remember this is the time for you to have to get in on the trading action with our robots. Okay, it's 2015. We're already past the first couple of months of this new year, and there's a lot of money to be made. Okay, so if you've just been sitting on the sidelines and you haven't begun trading yet, then we highly encourage you to dive in and start doing so, because at the end of the day, see, nothing risked, nothing gained. And if you don't have a broker account yet, then we highly recommend you to open an account at one of our preferred brokers, which are listed here, and get started with our FapTurbo2 robots as soon as possible. Okay, so just keep this in mind. If you're going to open up a live account at Tallinex, please make sure you do it through this link. That's FapTurbo2.com/Tallinex. Okay, and if you're going to open up an account at FxChoice, then make sure it's FapTurbo2.com/MyFxChoice. All right. And as always, if you have any queries related to the operation of our robots, or if you face any technical issues with installing or executing the robots on your account, then please contact us directly at premium@FapTurbo2.com. Okay, that's our premium tech support line, premium@FapTurbo2.com. And if you are facing technical issues, we highly recommend that you send us screenshots of your MetaTrader with the robot's details or the error clearly visible in the screenshot. Okay, it makes it a lot easier for us to have to see what the issue is, so that way we can guide you better. And if the queries that you have are not technical, if they're not tech related, if they're just related to, say, anything that's a general or billing query, then please email Annie at support@FapTurbo2.com. Emily will be monitoring both these lines, both these email addresses as well. So we're here to help you. If there's anything that you need at all, please make sure that you email us, and we'll be glad to guide you when it comes down to setting up BTC and FapTurbo2. Okay, so that's about it. We're going to be starting the Q&A session now. We've activated the question section on the side, so we'll be taking a look at the questions one by one, and we'll answer them here on the call. As of now, I would like to thank everyone who's been here on the webinar with us. And I'd also like to thank Adam for having been here and having explained everything with respect to Tallinex. It's great having everyone here. And we're looking forward to a highly successful, profitable year in 2015, especially with all the new developments that we have lined up for FapTurbo2. So if you're a FapTurbo2 member, just you can be rest assured that you're going to be always informed and up to date with the latest developments that we have in line for you. Okay, so I'm going to be switching to the Q&A now, and let's get started with going through these questions one by one. James Hugh has this question: how much would the total startup cost be, including the robot and the broker? Okay, now James, with respect to our robot, if you need to purchase a FapTurbo2 license, that costs you $149, and what that does is it allows you to trade on 2 broker accounts. So you're allowed to have one account at Tallinex and one at FxChoice. So you can actually trade with the robot on 2 separate accounts with 1 license. And for the brokerage, what we recommend is at least $500 to $1,000. Okay, so including all of it, let's keep it at a round figure of around $1,000. That's the best thing to do, because the reason why we insist or why we recommend this amount is the fact that it allows you to take advantage of profits on Bitcoin as well, which if you have anything less than $500, honestly, you won't be able to make profits as large as what we've been showing you. So if you really want to take advantage of Bitcoin along with the rest of the regular pairs, it's best to start off with at least $1,000. Okay. Jeremy has a question: when we open an account at Tallinex, we have to buy the robot as well. That's right, Jeremy. It's 2 separate things. When you open up an account at Tallinex, it does not automatically, it doesn't entitle you to a license with us. You will have to purchase a separate FapTurbo2 license in order to get started trading on either Tallinex or FxChoice. Chris NG has a question: does the account balance affect the profitability of trades on FapTurbo 2.2? Chris, see, when it comes down to the account balance, the way that it affects profitability, what I would say is that it doesn't actually affect profitability per se. What it does is it affects the lot size that you can trade with, okay, which indirectly affects the amount of profit that you'll make at the end of the day. Because see, say for example, if you're starting off with an account balance of $1,000, initially what we always recommend is for our members to have to trade at lot sizes between 0.05 to 0.1 lot on each pair, and especially with the new version 2.3, since Flash allows up to 2 simultaneous trades on 1 pair, we usually recommend that you half that lot size. So if you're trading 0.1 lots on the rest of the MTS pairs, with Flash it's better to trade with 0.05. So that way it evens out in the sense that it will not severely affect your account equity. At the end of the day, the lot size that you trade with is limited by the balance that you have. Okay, so yes, indirectly the balance does affect the amount of profits that you can make, and you have to be careful about this. You should make sure that you never overtrade your account. At the end of the day, we always recommend that instead of having to rush to make profits in a short time and then potentially lose your account or wipe out your account in a few days, it's best to trade conservatively, because there is no rush at the end of the day when it comes down with our robots. Our robots will give you the profits. All you have to do is make sure that you be patient with it. All right? So there's absolutely no need for you to have to push the robots to trade more than they already do. Josh Headley has a question which says, what time frames do you trade on the chart that you've labeled performance results? Okay, Josh, this is the one thing that's really great about our FapTurbo2 series, okay, right from the very first FapTurbo2, we have made our robots time frame independent, okay, and what that means is you can run the robot on any time frame on any of these pairs. It's not necessary for you to have to run it on a specific time frame. This is very different from how the older FapTurbo used to work, wherein it was limited to the M15 time frame. But just for the sake of being able to figure out what strategy you're running on, what we sometimes recommend is you can run the robot on H1 for the MTS plus flash mode, and if you're running the legacy scalper, you can run it on M1. But this is just merely for you to be able to distinguish the fact that you're running the robots on these particular time frames. But at the end of the day, the time frame itself does not affect the robot's operation, because the robot refers to its own trading logic and indicators on various time frames internally. It doesn't depend on the chart that you drop it on. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, Adam, I think this is more of a broker-related question. So Carl has a question that says, how do you withdraw money from the trading account? Are there any fees related to it?
Well, there's two aspects of this. You withdraw money using our request system. One of the features in our back office is an automated system that allows you to move money around between accounts, and also we provide you with an electronic wallet, so you can move money out of one account, stick it in the wallet for a little while, drop it to a different account, do inter-account transfers. You can request withdrawals all through the same system, and it's fully automated. In terms of actually taking the money out, we do withdrawals to bank accounts only. That's part of our anti-money laundering regulations. And there is a wire transfer fee that is applied to any withdrawal that you make. What we actually do with the wire transfer fee is effectively pay half of it for you. You probably know if you send a wire internationally, that's about $45, $50. We charge $25 or 20 euros.
Okay. All right. Next question from, this is Chris. He said, how long before I can be a beta tester of FapTurbo version 2.3? Since I want to open a Tallinex account, I already have an FxChoice account, but I would like to test on Tallinex. Well, Chris, like we mentioned, if you qualify with respect to the conditions that we've laid out for our beta testers, then, and since you already have an FxChoice account, you can just email us at betatest@FapTurbo2.com with your details, and we can help you get started with FxChoice first, while in the meantime you set up your Tallinex account as well. And once that's loaded up and deposited, funded rather, you can run version 2.3 on Tallinex as well, side by side. So this way you'll be able to report results for both the brokers, which is what we're looking for at the end of the day. We're really looking for beta testers who are willing to run the robot on both the brokers simultaneously. Andrews W has a question. Do we need a separate VPS for Tallinex and FxChoice? That is 2 VPSs for one FapTurbo license. No, Andrews, that's not required at all. With respect to the VPSs, let's say for example, if you have a VPS at FxChoice, the VPS comes pre-installed, and that's the same thing with Tallinex as well. It comes pre-installed with the broker's MetaTrader, okay? But besides that, the VPSs that are usually provided are also like, they're independent VPSs, which means they're not specifically tied only to that broker. You can run MetaTraders from other brokers as well. At least that's what we've been doing on, we've been helping out members to set up FxChoice and Tallinex on their VPSs. And Adam, if I'm correct, there isn't any limitation on the Beaks VPSs either, right?
There actually is.
Oh, really? Okay. Could you please clarify that?
because we've got the VPSs set up to operate optimally with our server, because it's basically one cable length away, it's counterproductive using that to try and talk to someone else's trading server halfway around the world.
Right. Okay, but
So
technically speaking, would it be possible to install a separate instance of a MetaTrader on that VPS?
You can install a separate instance of MetaTrader. Excuse me. I believe that the new servers will only connect with ours, though. But actually, it's not that much of a problem because our VPS is free and the FapTurbo2 VPS is technically free as well.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So either or.
Right. It shouldn't be a problem. If at all there's any, if you require any assistance with having to set up either of the brokers on your VPS, just shoot us an email and we'll see what we can do for you. Okay, Andrew? We have another question from, I think, Chris NG again. Sorry, just give me a moment here. Okay, so there's a question with respect to, like, say for example, if you were to open an account with $1,000, will that be sufficient to run all the strategies together? Yes, that's right. You can actually run all of the strategies. That's your MTS plus the Flash strategy in version 2.3. And you can even run the legacy scalper on Euro USD M1, okay? But like I mentioned earlier, the best thing to do is to make sure that you do not overtrade your account. So if you're going to be running multiple strategies all together on the same account, then it will be best to reduce your lot sizes, or what you can do is keep the lot size stable, or rather common on mode 4, which is MTS plus Flash, and you can either increase or decrease the lot size for the legacy scalper separately. That's something that we can give you further recommendations. Just email us with your current setup and we'll let you know what's the best way to go about it. Okay, Corbin has a question. Future code suggestion. Oh, okay, sorry, this is a suggestion. Add the Gartley scanner. Okay, Corbin, we'll just take a look at this and we'll get back to you via email. For now, we'll just stick to the questions that we have online. Gee whiz. Okay, that's an interesting name. Will we ever be able to run FapTurbo on a broker other than MyFxChoice or Tallinex? I'm very glad you brought up that question, because I can't begin to count the number of times that we've been asked this question, despite the fact that we repeatedly emphasize that our FapTurbo2 series will not run on any other brokers except Tallinex and MyFxChoice. And we've listed out all the possible reasons as to why we've limited FapTurbo2 to do so. Okay, we see, at the end of the day, we don't want you to have to take FapTurbo2 to another broker, which you might think is really great, but at the end of the day is going to give you subpar results, and then you'll later blame the robot and say that the robot was not able to do so on that particular broker. Okay, we have thoroughly tested out Tallinex and MyFxChoice, and that's exactly why we recommend only these brokers. Okay, so yeah, it's no other brokers, only Tallinex and MyFxChoice, and that's about it. Jerry Seals, why does the BTC robot have such a wide price to TP spread? What you have to remember, Jerry, is the very fact that Bitcoin, if you were to take a look at any Bitcoin market, unless you're trading directly with someone else in terms of just Bitcoins, like straight through trades, there will always be a high spread on Bitcoin. Okay, to the point where it floats around, say, between $8 to $10 at a time sometimes, and we've taken that into consideration with our robot. It's to allow the possibility of these kind of spreads on both the brokers, not just on one. So when we set the max spread to allow up to, say, for example, $10 on a spread on Bitcoin, that's for the MTS as well as the scalper robot. It's to ensure that you don't miss out on trades as well, because if you set the max spread too low, then you won't see any trades at all, and if you set it too high, then you're going to be seeing trades when you shouldn't be trading at all. Okay, so there's two sides to the coin, and you have to keep that in mind. Okay, Hector is asking, by creating an account at Tallinex, will I have power over the robot? Absolutely. Okay, Hector, see, at the end of the day, these robots are they are automated solutions, but they are completely under your control. Okay, you have the option to be able to deactivate the robot on your MetaTrader if you don't want it running, or you can choose to just close your MetaTrader 4, although that's something that we don't recommend if you've already started trading with the robot. So yes, you have complete control over the robot, and that's not something you should have to worry about. It may seem a little bit of a newbie question, but this is one of the reasons why we also emphasize, and we tell our members to make sure that they go through the manuals as well as the videos, because we have clearly explained all of this in our members area on the downloads page and in the tutorial sections as well. Excuse me, let me just... Okay, this is also a broker question from James. I think I've heard that Tallinex, Tallinex says that the 100% deposit bonus occurs every time a new deposit is made. Does this mean if I deposit 1K, the broker adds an additional 1K, and every time I make a new deposit, the bonus is activated? Is this correct?
No. What we don't do is add money to your account. What we actually do is, when you make a deposit, we have a tracking system in the back office which is, okay, this client has just made a deposit, this is the date, this is the amount, this is how many lots we need them to trade, and then it has a counter that just tracks how much trading you've done. So as I explained during the presentation, we've done this for a very good reason. With MetaTrader, if you add bonus amounts to the trading account, then the equity of that account becomes misreported, because all of the brokers who offer a bonus won't let you actually have that money until you've traded sufficient lots to qualify. So as the expert advisor doesn't know this, it will open positions based on the equity it sees in your trading account or the balance, and those trades can then be too large. So if the market is moving against you, it's quite easy, particularly with certain robots, that your equity reaches zero because the bonus doesn't count for offsetting trading losses, and so your account gets stopped out. And so we deliberately don't add bonuses to your trading balance because it affects the way that EAs operate. We just list them separately in your back office so you can see every deposit that you've made, and you can see your progress towards earning each of those deposits.
Okay.
Hopefully that was clear enough.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Mark has a question. On your examples, what were your starting balances? Mark, for all the regular pairs, the starting balance in total was $10,000. But taking into consideration the Bitcoin pairs, it's always best to add much more in terms of the balance. So if you were to take it in total, it was actually closer to $20,000, including the Bitcoin pairs. Okay, but you have to remember that the results you saw were being traded at one full lot each. Okay, that's on each pair. That's why it's necessary to have that larger an account to trade, to get those kind of results. But see, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're trading at one full lot or if you're trading at 0.1 lots or 0.01. Okay, the best thing to do is to always scale the lot size according to your account balance. No one is saying that you have to overtrade your account in order to obtain the kind of results that we've shown you. Okay, those are the kind of accounts that we trade on. That doesn't mean that you have to use those kind of lot sizes. So at any point in time, always take into consideration your account balance and equity, and then scale the lot sizes accordingly, and then allow the robot to trade. Okay. One thing I must mention is that our robot, especially with the beta versions, starting from FapTurbo2 onwards, we've always insisted on starting with a fixed lot size initially. Because we've noticed that a lot of beginners get excited with the idea of having to run the money management feature on all of the pairs. Okay, and then pretty soon, just because they experience one large loss as a result of the fact that the money management may have incremented the lot size at a point when it was not required, then they feel disappointed. So initially, we always recommend, especially if you're new to FapTurbo2, please start off with fixed lot sizes. We normally recommend 0.01 lots for every $300 to $500 of your account balance, just to be safe, if you're trading on all the pairs, including Bitcoin, simultaneously. Okay. Jean from Toronto has a couple of interesting questions. Which broker amongst both Tallinex and MyFxChoice offers standard lot accounts? And also, can I run the robot every day? That's 24 hours a day, and how many days a week? Well, I'll answer the second question first, Jean. Once you get started with running the robot, you have to leave the robot along with the metadata for open 24 hours, 5 days a week. That's basically for the 5 trading days in a week. You have to leave it on throughout the week, otherwise you will miss out on trading opportunities, or sometimes more importantly, it's about having to exit at the right time. If your MetaTrader 4 is closed at a time when there might have been an optimum exit, then you could potentially lose money from an existing trade that's already open. So it's just as important to, when it comes down to entering a trade, it's just as important to exit at the right time. And for that to occur, you have to leave your MetaTrader 4 on open. If you're running this on your laptop or on a local system, what you can do is you can shut down the you can close the MetaTrader 4 and give your system a break over the weekends, and then make sure that you restart it or set up your MetaTrader 4 again before trading starts on Monday again. All right, so that way you have your MetaTrader 4 set up along with FapTurbo2 running continuously, and in between you get to give it its break as well. This is basically an option for those of you who may not want to sign up for a VPS immediately, or if you feel that a VPS subscription cost might be too much for you at this point in time. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think it's much better to have to go in for a VPS, especially if you're new to FapTurbo2, because it also allows us to have to tweak your setup and tell you, what's best for your account, especially your account size. So it gives us the opportunity to be able to be a little more hands-on with your setup and to help you better. As for the first question, which broker amongst Tallinex and MyFxChoice, actually both of them do offer standard lot accounts. But the thing that we are emphasizing here is the fact that when you join FapTurbo2, especially as a premium member, you have to join us through these links which are mentioned here on the slide. That's FapTurbo2.com/Tallinex and FapTurbo2.com/MyFxChoice. And both of these links will allow you to create ECN type accounts. At Tallinex, that's an ECN micro type account. Okay, and it's not that these brokers do not offer standard lots, but once you start off with FapTurbo2 at first, these will be micro accounts. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Let me see what else we have here. Josh Helly again. I'm worried I'm overtrading my account. I have 4 time frames open for 6 pairs and only $1,000 in my account. Josh, you know, it would be a lot better if you could please send us a screenshot of your current MetaTrader 4 setup. Let us know which pairs you're trading on and what your lot sizes are. A lot of that information will be available and can be clearly seen on the charts itself because the robot displays that information. So just send us a screenshot of your current setup and we'll tell you what you need to do in order to you know, modify it so that you get better results. Okay. Let me see what else we have here. Mark Sophie. No, sorry. You know, no, Mark, besides the $149 for the license and plus funding accounts, there are no additional costs unless you say, for example, if you want to go in for a VPS. But that's about it. There aren't any other additional costs at all. Okay, Michael has an interesting question. If I had purchased back in 2013, do I have to repurchase now? Michael, we need to see. You need to first of all distinguish whether you have the older FapTurbo1 license or a FapTurbo2 license, because when we started off with FapTurbo2, it was at the end of 2013. That was December 2013. So if you purchased the license prior to that, then it's definitely a FapTurbo1 license, and which means that, see, you can't run the new FapTurbo2 series with the older FapTurbo1 license because that license was meant specifically for the scalpers. Okay. But what we do offer you, and for all of the existing FapTurbo1 members, sorry, is that if you already have an existing valid FapTurbo1 license, we actually give you a discount so that you can upgrade to FapTurbo2 at a slightly discounted price. Okay, so all you need to do is just email us at premium@FapTurbo2.com and we'll give you the information on how you can purchase FapTurbo2 at the discount for existing members. All right, Michael? Okay. I'm just going to take questions probably for another 5 minutes, after which we'll bring this to a close. Just trying to identify the more pertinent questions and address them quickly. Roger, you're saying that we told you before that if you were to open up an account at one of these brokers that the robot is free. Sorry, no, we don't understand why you would make that assumption, and none of us have, in terms of our support team, no one has ever said that if you were to open an account at one of these brokers that you get FapTurbo2 for free. Okay, it isn't that way at all. You do have to purchase a robot license, and I'm making this very clear. The robot license is separate from the funds that you will have to use in order to fund your broker account. Okay, it's two separate things. At the end of the day, you're purchasing a license for the FapTurbo2 robot, and you have to fund your account at the broker, and you'll eventually allow the robot to run on the broker account so that it can make profits for you. Right? So I hope I'm making that very clear, not just to Roger, but to everyone else here on this call. Okay. Sigirian, that's an interesting question. Can the broker trade on my behalf, and if yes, to what extent? Considering the fact that we're talking about FapTurbo2 here, which is an automated trading solution, it's FapTurbo2 that's going to be trading on your behalf, not the broker itself. What you'll be doing is you'll be funding your broker account, and the robot will trade on your own account on your behalf. That's how it works. All right? Steve is asking what exactly is the difference between the original FapTurbo license that I bought and the current FapTurbo2. Right, so like I was explaining earlier, Stephen, the older FapTurbo license is for the FapTurbo1 series, which was only the scalper. Okay, that was the scalper with the original Fap long-term strategy, and at that point in time, FapTurbo1 was allowed to run on any broker. It wasn't limited to only our best preferred brokers. Okay, but that's also the reason why we were seeing, you know, varying results from all of our members, and in certain cases members used to complain that they were seeing losses when others were praising FapTurbo2 and FapTurbo and saying that they were gaining profits. So with the FapTurbo1 robot, like I said, it's only a scalper, okay, and it has its limitations, and it's exactly those limitations that we've attempted to surpass with FapTurbo2. So if you'd like to upgrade to FapTurbo2, we'd be glad to give you the discount. Just email us at premium@FapTurbo2.com and we'll get you started with that. Okay. I'm sorry, I won't be able to pronounce this name, but I'm just going to read out the question. Will I get access to the premium part of your site when I open and fund a live account with Tallinex? I believe I've already explained this. Like I said, opening up an account with the broker, with either of these brokers, doesn't entitle you to a FapTurbo2 license. You will have to buy or purchase the robot license separately. But once you do so, then it will allow you the opportunity to trade on both the brokers simultaneously if you wish. Okay, and I think we have the last question for today, which is a little strange but interesting. Okay, so the last email sent to me on the FapTurbo signal as a new trade coming in was on January 30th. Okay, Gordon, whatever your name is here, that is highly unlikely because, like as we've shown you, you know, our new FapTurbo2 robot has been trading right up till, I mean, it generates trades every single day, so it's not possible that it could have stopped at January 30th unless there was something wrong with your MetaTrader setup. Usually what happens is a lot of our members forget to activate or switch on the auto trading button at the top of the MetaTrader. Okay, please keep this in mind. For the robot to trade actively, it has to be switched on. The auto trading button at the top of your MetaTrader 4 has to be switched on. Okay, there are a couple of other things also that need to be satisfied in order for the robot to work properly, but all of that has, like I said, has been explained in the manual. And if you have any doubts at all, just send us an email and we'll tell you how to go forward. Most of the a lot of the most important settings are what you will find in MetaTrader in the tools, options, and then expert advisors page. Okay, that's the tab in which you'll find all the important options related to running a robot on your system. Okay, so I think that's about it. We've come to the end of the question and answer section here. So thank you very much once again, everybody, for having stayed with us, for having been patient with us on the call, and we really appreciate the fact that you're here and that you've that you've listened to us and all the information and developments that we've basically told you about and informed you about. And once again, thank you, Adam, for having been here with us. And
thank you kindly.
All right. So
just one thing before we disappear.
Yeah.
For anyone who is trading, please remember that the clocks have changed in the US, or they will do on Sunday. So the market is going to open for non-US traders an hour adrift. It's 9 p.m. London time instead of 10 p.m.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good reminder. Thank you very much, Adam. And yeah, there might be questions as to whether the robot will detect any of the changes in DST or stuff like that. All of this again has been addressed, and our robot does do that automatically for both the brokers. It's not something that you have to worry about at all. Okay, you will see the automatic GMT offset detected by the robot, and it'll be mentioned on the charts, okay, on each of the charts that you have the robot trading on. So it won't be a problem at all. And if at all there is any issue with the GMT offsets, just email us and we'll tell you how to fix that. It's not a problem at all. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you very much, everybody, and we hope to see you again on the next webinar. Probably we might have that at the end of this month or the beginning of April, once we have the version 2.3 ready for release, and we'll have plenty of more of our upcoming developments to talk about as well. Take care, everyone, and have a great trading week. See ya.
Bye to all.
Bye-bye.